All right, we are good on the Twitter.
Okay, give me. Nope, that's not it. Oh my God.
All right, Minnesota wins April Fool's Day.
Oh,
They there's this Meet Lil G, the new live mascot. They actually got a freaking groundhog or a gopher, I guess. That wins. Wait a minute. Coach Isaac. Oh. Hmm. Okay, this is interesting. Either Coach Isaac is playing a wonderful April Fool's trick on us, or he is previewing something that is to come.
oh.
He tweeted a picture of who is number 52. Well, anyway, who he is isn't entirely important right now, but it is a kind of not great photoshopped image of our guy with a new helmet. And this one is our gold color with a green Wayne State Shield logo.
Oh, dang.
Hopefully it's not an April Fool's, and hopefully it's an actual preview. Because honestly, I like it.
Mmm.
It's a little no, the Packers have green helmets.
Yeah. Hmm. Alrighty.
Which I believe we are still going to. Obviously, we just got new uniforms. We're not going to, and we just had a pretty substantial athletics brand campaign. We're not going to go back to the OG gold, but
Ah,
I also love that whoever runs the Good Luck Joe's Twitter account just comes out once a year to tweet and reply on things.
that's pretty great to hear this morning. Alrighty. You ready?
Yep, I am ready.
I will not I will do the correct anchor intro. I will not do our intro this time. We are April Fools for one more minute. All right. Anchor up and welcome to the Laker House podcast, where our stadium and scoreboard is bigger than yours. We're here, first time Sangster. We talked about it earlier today. We're doing this for real. D2 means a bit more. It's time to expand. The Laker House is for real.
Can you believe that the Lakers just keep losing to that school up the road, Ferris State, with their not so great. I mean, they don't even have an indoor facility. I mean, they're trying to build it, but they need to get money first. Like, we have money. Like that's easy. How do you not? And
Yeah,
I mean, all
and they're building with Ferris is building a dorm right at the end zone. Like, come on, that's where our stands fill the same area that they're
yeah.
putting dorms in there. Like, what's that all about?
I mean, why would you have dorms when you can have a giant scoreboard? And also, did you hear that the NCAA is now allowing those green dot helmet speakers?
Nope.
I guess I think they've had them in D1 a couple years, but now they're moving on to allowing them in D2. I know that Coach Wooster is really pushing that. Really wonder if the other plebs in the GLIAC will be getting green dot helmet speaker systems. Do you think
That
that'll
I
happen?
No, absolutely not. We're at the cutting edge
Oh,
of technology. We are right there. We are always going to be, the first ones to get to the next thing that's going to keep us at a competitive advantage. So,
oh yeah.
anchor up. Yeah, it's
In the
ridiculous.
shape of an L on your forehead.
Yeah,
Am I
honestly,
doing it right?
absolutely ridiculous. So
And
people
just
caught
winning
it.
at
Yeah,
everything too. I mean, we're basically the U of M of West Michigan right now. And but the one flip side of that is like, yeah, we're winning at everything, but could we like win at another level? I mean, look at West Florida right now. They've only had a football. I think they've only had a football program since like 2016. Maybe an entire athletics program, but definitely a football program since 2016. Their stadium like looks like a carbon copy of Lubbers. They're moving up to D1 and the Lakers aren't. Like, what's going on here?
it's wild. Absolutely wild.
All right, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, people caught on that immediately because it was about the most ridiculous thing we could have come up with. Because of course, anchor down, screw that. We're not in on that. We don't support by any means.
No.
But really funny. I loved Zach's response on that. Like even on April Fool's Day, this feels illegal, and I was like, you know what, Zach, you got a point there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
It's
so
really
no.
easy to be a Grand Valley fan, though. It really is.
Yeah, got some good teams all around. But anyway, this is the Warrior House podcast, episode 127, April Fools, Anchor Down. We're back. We're here to talk about everything within Wayne State athletics and all around campus. So, adios to our couple hours of pretending that we were almost going to support Grand Valley athletics because we're on with that. We do have some unfortunate big news on campus. It's going to start out a little unfortunate, but there was a reported fire at the Maccabees building, one of the main Wayne State buildings right on Woodward right there. Shout out Shields, they're in that building. After the news came out, it seems like it was just a rooftop HVAC unit that caught fire there. There seemed like be some sort of a malfunction. So definitely some
Really
exterior
impressively, but
damage.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like some exterior damage, minimal damage. Building was evacuated. It doesn't seem like there's anything crazy going on there. Still have to assess all of the damage, but definitely a bummer for a very historic 1920s at the height of the Roaring
Just
Twenties
before
when
the
Detroit
Depression.
really, right when Detroit really got to be what we see nowadays with a lot of these older buildings. That's right about when this building came around. So a bummer to see a historic building. At first, I was like, oh, I don't want to lose this one, but it seems like we'll be okay. But definitely a big news story that happened today.
Yeah, and most importantly, I didn't see anything about like major injuries and it certainly doesn't look like anybody died. And that's what's most important, that everybody got out safe and everybody is okay. You can't replace people.
Yep, that is exactly true. So, hoping for some more good news over the next couple of days, but so far it seems like everything is okay at this point. Moving along to some happier news, if you will. The Warrior House Bar Madness bracket challenge is still going on. Coming up to this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be running our Final Four, and then on Monday in right alongside the actual NCAA championship for March Madness. We will have the finals going on. We got Z's Villa taking on Lexington. Lexington's right back in it as they usually are. And on the other side of the bracket, we got Old Miami and Bronx Bar. So a lot of familiar names in there. Happy to see Z's Villa moving on in there. Like I said, Lexington's always got a very good social following, and they do a great job of sharing that out and getting some looks on that one. So having a lot of fun this year, though. And again, apologies to Roar Brewing. I'm sorry you got left out. The selection committee just didn't come to the conclusion that you should be in the field of 16.
And we're gonna have a conversation with them next year. I think that's got to change.
Yeah, we'll find some new committee members. And then finally, the Warrior House bracket challenge is still ongoing right now. For some of us, it doesn't look so bad. For some of us, it does look pretty bad. Yeah, Sangster holds up his Spartans. That's yeah,
Rip.
bummer there. I was very sad to see that Michigan State got. It was finally like it felt like a season where we could have had an honest chance at Michigan State in the championship,
I
and I was
could not
hoping.
take that. Sorry.
Yeah, I
I,
mean, fair enough.
my heart would explode.
We would watch from different states probably.
Yeah.
So that's still going on. Good stuff going on there. But that's what we got. Some quick news there, Sangster. Anything else before we get into looking back?
Yeah, just looking at the Bar Madness bracket challenge right now, we have three uh bracket challenge winners in there and a newcomer to the final four, Z's Villa. So really strong competition across all boards. Lots of heavy hitters in this one.
Yeah, no doubt. It's cool stuff there. So, moving on, we'll take a look back at what's happened over the last weekend. We're going to start out with our women's track and field team. Back on, excuse me, back on Friday, they were in St. Louis for two events. The Washington University Distance Carnival. In this one, Emily Gordon was the highlight here with a 12th place finish in the 1500 meter, and that was good enough for third place in school history. So, a really good showing from Emily Gordon. And then same day, over on the St. Louis University Speed and Power Festival side, Anna Godowski is the highlight here with an 11th place finish in the 1500 meter event. So that was really an event that was kind of showing up for Wayne State track and field on Friday over in St. Louis.
Yeah, really good stuff from them. And also the team was also it was a split squad because some of the team was also in Cedarville for the Cedarville Yellow Jacket Open. Out of 23 different teams, Wayne State places third, so a really good showing there for them as well.
Yep, good stuff. So as we get along a little bit more, I know we have a couple of sports here that we're talking about. We're doing a deep dive into softball. At some point, we will definitely do a little bit of a deeper dive into track and field. But for the sake of time, we will move along just a little bit here. The Wayne State baseball team was in action over this last weekend. They were out in Davenport, in Caledonia.
Yeah, not
Um,
not Iowa, very
yeah,
different place.
yeah, true. So back on Friday, Wayne State took on Davenport, and we ended up winning that one by a final score of 7-4. Change of schedule a little bit, I assume, because of weather. Davenport wins the game on Saturday by a final score of 9-4. And then on Sunday, we had the doubleheader that day. Davenport wins that first game 2-1. Wayne State follows it up with a win in game two by a final score of 10-5. So a split there. We'll talk about the ranking here in the second half. On one hand, you're like, you feel good that you went out, you split the series. On the other hand, you kind of feel bummed that you only split the series just based on how this Wayne State baseball team has been playing so far this season. But you know, it's hard to feel good about it. It's hard to feel bad about it. It's easy to feel about it in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you there because you're on the road. You're against a Davenport team that tends to run up the score a lot. They offensively they're very good. Everything else it's from what I've heard it's kind of hit or miss. Um, in one game on that Sunday, that first one, you hold them to just one run, or just to two runs. Unfortunately, the Wayne State bats don't really come alive on that one. Again, though, you go to that second game in the doubleheader, you win it 10-5. Hey, you take some of those 10 runs scored, you put them in the couple losses, you're sitting pretty good. So, I think this Wayne State team is going to be fine. Like you said, they're still ranked a little lower this time, but they're still ranked, still doing well in GLIAC play. Still haven't had a home game yet because the Ohio Dominican game that was supposed to be played yesterday, March 31st, was postponed. Obviously, if you're in and around Detroit, the weather was not exactly fantastic. So, still got to wait to see Wayne State home at Harwell Field, but you won't have to wait long, and we'll talk about that in the next segment.
Yeah, and that Saturday game, just to kind of close out the baseball segment, Wayne State out hit Davenport in that one. We had a couple of home runs, a couple of doubles in there as well, but we ended
Yep.
up losing by a final score of 4-9. So that one stings a little bit where you're like, we did a lot of the offensive things that you would hope to be able to do to put yourself in a position to win. It's just the way that baseball works out sometimes. Didn't quite happen. So I will say on one hand, to talk about that one again, we were kind of close to a 3-1 record here. I'd feel a lot better about that. But looking at some of the stats in there, you do feel like there was a chance for us to get there, and just was
Yep.
not able to happen. So bummer, but nonetheless, we move along, Sangster. We had softball coming up, and we got some good news from our Wayne State softball team.
Yeah, really good stuff over the weekend. First, they had a Saturday home doubleheader against Parkside, and Wayne State sweeps on that Saturday, winning 3-2 in game one, and shutout, close scoring game, 1-0 in the second game. Parkside only gets 3 hits in game one, and that's pretty good because this game went to extra innings. It went to 12 innings. Sydney Long threw for the whole game, again, 12 innings. Uh, She also got a an RBI and got unfortunately hit by a pitch, but she gets on base. So good stuff. I haven't really delved into softball and how softball pitchers do uh, hitting the ball versus like baseball. Baseball, you have designated hitters more often. So otherwise, though, it was in game two, it was really a pretty boring offensive game, but Wayne State gets the win here. Hunter Neer had 2 walks and a stolen base for this one in Wayne State.
Yeah, she's doing a really good job this season. And I'll also Sydney Longholm, I'm going to talk about, but also pitched on Sunday. It just, what blows me away is the amount that our softball pitchers pitch.
Mhm.
And a quick stat, because I'm not going to cover Sydney Long too much here in the second half, but she's sitting at a 2.93 ERA this season. And that's quite a bit better than what she did last season. And as I just mentioned, she's pitching a lot right now. Maybe we'll look that up for the second half. Maybe we will talk a little bit about some of her stats, just to figure out how is she trending, because it seems like she's pitching a lot. And then looking over at Sunday, there's a doubleheader against Roosevelt. Wayne State swept this one, first game by a low, measly score of 1-0. Good enough for a win. Wayne State follows it up with a 5-4 win. Roosevelt only totaled 5 hits in game one, no extra base hits. So, you did a really good job of keeping your runners at bay in this one. And that's really all you needed. You just go get your one run, keep Roosevelt off the bases, out of scoring position. You're in a good spot. And then over in game two, Roosevelt did get a little bit better success at the plate in this one, got a couple more hits, but 9 strikeouts. So you get a hit, your next batter up strikes out, and you kind of get yourself in a bad spot there. So luckily, that was, I think, the difference in this game. And, Wayne State only had 1 strikeout in this one. Nonetheless, still a very close game, sitting at 5-4. So, not really much more that you can ask for in this day. I mean, I know you got a note here you want to talk about Sangster, but last episode we talked about a weekend sweep would be a tall order, but that would quickly get this team back on track after what had happened last weekend. We said that in the last episode. This Wayne State softball team just straight up went out and did that, and that is quite literally all you can ask for.
Yeah, and the biggest thing to come out of game two, close game, but really it was in the first inning that Wayne State had a really goofy play that uh basically Roosevelt gave up an inside the park 3-run home run. Um just all off of some wild throws to the catcher's plate. So basically, you got to watch the video because it's a little entertaining. If you're not a Roosevelt fan, if you're a Roosevelt fan, unfortunately, it doesn't look too good for you. But basically, one player gets in. Uh, I think pitcher is trying to throw it to the catcher. They just miss entirely. That runner scores. Uh, I think the pitcher comes to cover uh, home plate. The catcher then throws a miscue ball to the pitcher. It goes back again, and then someone else goes to grab the ball, and that third runner comes in and scores, and they're safe at home. I think they actually caught that one, but still that runner was safe. So that was kind of the highlight of that game. Wayne State gets out to an early 4-0 lead. Unfortunately, Wayne State wouldn't score until the sixth inning, again on another wild pitch situation. And Roosevelt did keep it interesting. They scored 2 runs in the seventh. That's how they got up to their closer score of 5-4. But really, Wayne State had started this game well early and just kept rolling.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the weekend, uh, this Wayne State softball team sweeps. They get 4 wins, and it definitely takes the bad taste of last weekend out of your mouth a little bit. Gets this team back in a good spot. We'll talk about the GLIAC softball standings here in the second half. But then, last but not least, Sangster, much like the baseball team, the softball team was supposed to have a doubleheader at home against Ashland, and that was postponed to sometime in the future. We'll come back to that when and if that ends up getting rescheduled. A quick one here. The Wayne State volleyball team was also in action. The spring season continues, and they took on Cornerstone. Some stuff happened. I saw a post about it. I don't think there were any clips posted about it. I hope it was fun, and I hope the volleyball team performed well and learned some things. That's what I
Yeah.
got on that.
Yep, that's kind of all we got for exhibition volleyball season. But what we do have some good info on is the men's tennis team. They were out at Davenport last Saturday for their first GLIAC game of the season, and Wayne State starts off on a really good foot. They shut Davenport out, winning 7-0. You sweep the doubles point. There were some close battles in there, but then you go ahead and you sweep the singles. 3 of those did get into a third set, but nevertheless, Wayne State comes out on top of this one. So your doubles teams here, I got Harry Forsyth and Louis Klaus, George Day and Thomas Mathis, and Tom Wasner and Benjamin Hill as your doubles teams winners. And then your players that were playing in the singles matches this day were George Day, Louis Klaus, Thomas Mathis, Benjamin Hill, Tom Wasner, and Harry Forsyth. So really good stuff from them, starting out conference matches on a good foot.
Yeah, it's what you expect from a team that I'll just say it goes down to Florida and gets punched in the mouth a couple of times by a lot of very good teams to come back to shut Davenport down on their home courts. So it's what you
Yep.
expect coming back from all that. And it's exactly the way you would hope to start GLIAC season play. Over on the Wayne State women's tennis side, they were also out taking on number 28 ranked by the ITA, Davenport. Davenport does win this one by a final score of 4-3. Davenport gets the doubles point in this one, and it actually turns out that this one could have been the difference. Malik, Martina, and Shantala all got the singles win in this one, and Davenport got the rest of the singles in 2 sets. So based on all of that, it does feel like the way that Wayne State would have been able to win this one is by the doubles points, and it was a close one. I recall seeing in the box score that. Uh, I think there was a 6-4 and a 7-5 final in the doubles for this Wayne State women's tennis team. One of those goes your way, and you're talking about a Wayne State victory here, and again, almost a top 25 win against Davenport. It just didn't end up happening.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, but still a long season. Not quite how they wanted to get their start, but I think that still makes women's tennis like 1-1 in conference play right now. We'll definitely get to that in the next segment. Moving on to the last WAC sports that Wayne State is playing. The women's golf team was out on Monday and Tuesday in Florence, Indiana for the Balterra Classic, which is hosted by Cedarville, who also was hosting that track meet earlier in the weekend. Wayne State ends up finishing in second place, quite a bit behind Ashland. They ran away with this one. Sonia Bayahaya tied for fourth, and Clara Lafitte and Ting Yu Kwa got top 10 as well. So a good finish for Wayne State women's golf. Didn't come out with a win, still got a podium finish, got some golfers in the top 10. Pretty much all you can ask for.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that Ashland's doing something special this season because it was not close. Like I think it was like a 30-stroke difference between first and second place, which is absolutely wild. But
Yeah,
nonetheless, I mean, it was a pretty convincing second place finish for Wayne State. I mean, they separated themselves quite a bit from those behind, which is good. And then over on the Wayne State men's golf side, they were also at the Belterra Classic hosted by Cedarville and Florence. And Wayne State was able to take second place in this one, just 8 strokes out of first place, which was great. They were close. I mean, a couple holes with you just make that putt, you just you just get on the fairway instead of missing the fairway by that much. Like that feels like that's the difference when it comes to team golf like this. But what the greatest news from this one, Grant Ofield, who I do believe is a freshman, tied for first place in this one. And I remember seeing that there was a 4-hole playoff.
yep.
And I don't know if you just call it truce or if that's like the true, like, hey, we're done with it. There's no more playoffs. We tied. But he tied for first place in this one, which is amazing to see. And then Josh Lehner and Andrew Daly also ended up in the top 10 individually. So, yeah, you don't get a first place finish as a team, but you got a lot of really good stuff here, highlighted by Grant Ofield in this one, which is amazing.
Yeah, Grant Ofield and the golfer from Missouri S&T, Rizik Adam Rosenheim, uh, both ended up 4 under par. There were only one. There were only 2 of 4 golfers to finish under par. Wayne State as a team was only one of 2 teams to finish under par in this one. And then you mentioned Josh Lehner and Andrew Daly. Josh finished in 5th with just 1 stroke over, and Andrew finished tied for 6th, 3 strokes over. So really good stuff from this team so far. It looks like Andrew Daly is ranked number 120 by somebody. I don't know what association that is, but it shows that he's ranked number 120 right now. I can imagine that Grant might be getting some recognition coming up soon as well.
Yeah, I would certainly think so, and I do recall seeing his name a little bit in some of the just over the last couple of weeks, and obviously in like team competition and all that. But that'll definitely be an interesting name to keep our eye on. We're not going to be talking about golf here in the second half, unfortunately, because it's feeling like that time of the year. But really good stuff from the golf team, and yeah, I mean that I just want to kind of like to close out this section saying, I want to like reiterate how impressive this Wayne State softball team was over this last week. I mean, the previous weekend to go 0-4 after you're feeling pretty good at least in my opinion, you're taking a step in the right direction throughout, the season up until that point to then start conference play and go 0-4 really stings. But then you turn around and say, all right, everybody take a deep breath. Let's just go out there, make it happen. It was clear that the coaching staff, I believe, was like, we got to go get some wins, throw your best pitchers out there back to back. And they made it happen. So it's just,
Yep.
that's a great way to get back on track. And I think that deserved a second shout out because it's what we hoped for and it's what they did.
Yep. No doubt about it.
So with that, we will take a quick break and we will be back to talk about not Grand Valley Athletics. We'll be talking about Wayne State Athletics. So we'll take a quick break. And I am going to step away for just a couple of minutes here and then we'll be back.
Okie dokie.
I'm back.
Took out my recycling.
Nice.
No, it's always a great feeling when Amazon says that something will be here like on Thursday, but then they deliver it on Wednesday.
Yeah. Like, yay, that was a day early. Yeah, the like we were like 5 minutes left in the episode and Bree texts me, he's like, the boy's pooping.
Oh, the wonders of childcare.
Yeah. So whoop.
In Auburn Hills, the Palace Prince. That didn't help. There we go.
I got old Rip Van Winkle.
Oh,
That's not what's
yeah.
in the glass.
Oh.
You see
Wait a
this?
minute.
This is a $200 pour right here.
Some good old New Riff 8-year.
Nice. That's a screaming deal at New Riff.
Yeah.
Because you think about like old Fitz 8-year, because they have the 7-year out right now, which I think is like $70. But like, dang, crazy.
They make good stuff.
That's true. That is true. Okie dokie. Are we good?
Yeah.
Oh, she pitched 125 last season. She's currently at 76. Good Lord. Okay, well, that's,
Not to be confused with 6'7".
yeah, honestly. Okay. Is there anything else we need?
I got conference standings pulled up for the Diamond Sports, and I can quickly move to stats.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. We will stick on baseball and softball for try to drag it out that way. Like if you need to pull up some stats and you can
Yep.
have a little bit of time to find stuff if you need to.
Yeah.
Cool. Okie dokie. Let's do it. And we're back. Again, to be clear, we are back to talk about Wayne State athletics. We're not back to talk about Grand Valley athletics, but we are going to be talking about
Sort of.
Grand Valley because we're taking on Grand Valley this weekend-ish. Sangster. We're going to start out with our Wayne State baseball team. They are currently sitting at an overall record of 21-5 overall, 5-3 in conference play. Little room for improvement there just based on what this team has done so far this season. And they have a huge chance this weekend. But first, the NCBWA, I believe is that acronym, has Wayne State now at number 22 in the rankings. So yes, if you've been following along with that, they've dropped off a little bit, which kind of led us to our opinion on this last weekend against Davenport for this Wayne State baseball team. But again, this series coming up this weekend is a huge one, taking on Grand Valley. Funny enough, I did not actually see where Grand Valley is in the rankings. Based on the record, I'm going to assume that they're top 10. Grand Valley comes in with a 24-4 overall record, 4-0 in conference play. And I'll say it, this is the biggest weekend of the season, definitely the biggest series of the season. And the reason I said weekendish is because of Easter on Sunday. This is going to be a Thursday game, a doubleheader on Friday, closing it out on Saturday. That way these teams can enjoy campus life, whatever. And people can go and enjoy their Easter Sunday.
Yep. Yeah, right now in the GLIAC baseball standings, it's pretty early though. But Grand Valley is on top at 4-0. They've only played 4 conference games, them and Roosevelt. Roosevelt, for the record, is 0-4. Then you kind of got that logjam with Davenport at 6-2, Wayne State at 5-3, Saginaw at 5-3. Parkside is at 2-6, and Purdue Northwest is at 1-7. So right now it's a big opportunity for Wayne State because they're taking on a team that has not had a conference loss yet. Uh, Wayne State athletics knows something about handing Grand Valley their first loss in conference play, so shouldn't be any stranger to that experience.
Yeah, true that. And Grand Valley is definitely trending upwards quite a bit right now. I just looked it up, sitting at number 6 by the NCBWA, up from number 12 the prior week. So based on that, they had a conference sweep last week. I don't know who they played. Don't really care who they played. But this is the next team in front of this Wayne State baseball team. And based on what I've seen from them this season, one, this feels like a series that you're hoping to. I'll say what I'm thinking, Sangster, and let me know what you're thinking. 3-1 is got to be the expectation. I don't think a 2-2 feels that good because this series is at home.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You at least want to get the series win for this one again, exactly because what you said, we're at home right now. Grand Valley coming on the road on essentially Easter break. They probably want to be at home at some point. So yeah, definitely a big opportunity. A 3-1 should be the expectation. A sweep would be excellent. That puts Wayne State in a really good position and sets Grand Valley back quite a bit right now from where they were at. I just looked. Purdue Grand Valley was playing Purdue Northwest for their first 4 conference games of the season, and like I said, right now Purdue Northwest is not doing too hot. They are 1-7 in conference play, 7-15 overall. So I'm not sure it was entirely that. I mean, Grand Valley did have some pretty impressive wins over Purdue Northwest, but at the end of the day, right now it's still Purdue Northwest. They're not exactly rolling as a team. Right now, overall, Wayne State and Grand Valley are the only 2 teams in the conference to have single-digit losses. Grand Valley, like you said, is 24-4. Wayne State 21-5. Everyone else has no fewer than 11 wins right now. Saginaw Valley is at 14-11. So yeah, it's on paper. Wayne State and Grand Valley look farther apart than I think they truly are right now.
Yeah, the rankings are definitely going to do that a little bit. I mean, you over this last weekend, I'm sure most expected Wayne State to be able to go out and at least win the series against Davenport. Much like we're talking about this upcoming series with Grand Valley, you would think that we'd been able to go out to Davenport and get that 3-1 at least win. That'd probably help us out a little bit in the rankings, but it didn't end up happening. Which, much like last weekend when we were talking about softball, maybe there's not as much of a bad taste in the mouth of this Wayne State baseball team after last weekend. I'm gonna be honest with you, there probably is, and whether or not there should be, it's probably there. But carrying that forward, you can very quickly wipe that out with a very good showing this coming weekend. Which now, at this point, this does make this our home opener now, Sangster. Like we haven't played a home game yet. It was supposed to be on Tuesday. Weather
Yep.
said, we ain't doing that. And now we get Grand Valley at home. So that's what starts out this season. And I think that's a good start here. I think this team's going to be hyped up and ready to go.
Yeah, I think so too. I just pulled up some baseball statistics in GLIAC. Just overall, it's probably a little too early to get enough data for conference only statistics. Again, Grand Valley's only played 1 team in the conference. Right now, Grand Valley has the best batting average in the GLIAC. Flip side of that is Wayne State has the best pitching ERA in the GLIAC right now, just above Grand Valley. Grand Valley's number 2. Fielding wise, I'm trying to see what they actually use as the stat, but Wayne State is ranked number 2, Grand Valley number 1. So again, these teams are a lot closer than I think we might see on paper. So really exciting matchup. Home opener for Wayne State. I doubt that I can make this one, but still really good stuff. If only that Harwell Field had lights and they had some night games.
Yeah, definitely excited nonetheless to be following along with this one. And good luck to our Wayne State baseball team. Huge weekend. Hoping next weekend or next week we can be talking some really good stuff about this team. I'm sure we will, but we're hoping a series win over Grand Valley's in store. Moving along on to our Wayne State softball team. 12-13 overall. They're 4-4 in conference play. Tied for third in GLIAC standings, which again, much like this baseball team, it's still early on in the season, but they've done what they've needed to do this last week, which is, basically get yourself right back to that 500 in conference play. I think if we stick around that 500, we're going to be in an okay spot with this team. And we'll see what happens. There's definitely some weekends coming up that we feel a lot better about than some of the other ones. But this team being able to trend up, I don't think the expectation would be that we go 0-4 one weekend, 4-0 the next weekend. I think we got to definitely look for a win here or there, minimize some of those losses. And this team is going to be in a really good spot. But before we get into what they have coming up here, Sangster, I promised last week that I was going to talk a little bit about some of the stats on softball because I feel bad that every so often it feels like we just kind of breeze past this team and not talk too much about it. But currently, up to this point this season, this Wayne State softball team is sitting at a 283 batting average. For those stat nerds, 28.3. And that's compared to last season's 27.4. So they're up a little bit, which bodes well, I do believe. And the other stat, of course, that you want to look at is, okay, what are we giving up on the other side? So far this season, we're averaging 4.28 earned run average compared to 4.4 last season. So regardless of almost anything else, in my opinion, those two stats tell me that this team is better than they were last season. Barring any opponent differences, I know there's a lot because we haven't gone through much of the GLIAC gauntlet, I guess, so far this season, but the numbers are so far trending better than what we saw from last season. We'll see if that continues on, but those are two stats right off the bat. And then the other one that I mentioned, Sydney Long, I made the comment that it felt like she was pitching a whole heck of a lot, sitting rated about 75 innings pitched so far this season. Last season, she finished up at about 125. So my numbers tell me that she's trending a little bit above that right now, definitely leaning on her maybe a little bit more. Maybe she's performing better, or maybe we're just letting her go out and pitch a little bit more often. So that's good to see. And then because I talked about pitching, Wayne State currently in D2 is 140th at ERA. Definitely a little bit to be desired there, but all of those numbers kind of coming together tell me that this team has taken a step in the right direction since last season.
Yeah, and putting some of those numbers in context with the rest of the GLIAC, again, looking at overall statistics, not conference only. Right now, Wayne State is fourth best in the GLIAC in terms of pitching with that 3.84 ERA. Uh, kind of right where you would think they are with their record right now. Where Wayne State right now is excelling at is fielding. Right now, Wayne State is in first place. I figured it out now when I was talking about baseball. It's determined by fielding percentage. Fielding percentage is a baseball and softball statistic. It measures a player's defensive efficiency by calculating the percentage of times that they handled a batted or thrown ball correctly without committing an error. Thank you, Google AI, for that very quick definition. But yeah, right now Wayne State is really excelling with fielding the ball. They're just ahead of Grand Valley. Wayne State has a 975 percentage. Grand Valley at 965. For reference, the lowest in the GLIAC right now is Saginaw Valley at 953. So it's one of those things where it's only a few percentage points between all these teams, but at the end of the day, that's going to make a difference for you. So Wayne State really excelling with their fielding, and also that their batting average is all right within the context of the GLIAC. It's fourth, just like their pitching. So kind of where you would expect them to be, again, given their record, but their fielding right now is really what's helping them.
Yeah, and based on the standings of this GLIAC softball, I guess the GLIAC softball standings, this weekend does have some implications here. Not playoff implications, but this is a little bit of a movement weekend just because of who we're going up against. So the first opponent on Friday, again, just because of Easter on Sunday, this is a Friday and Saturday doubleheader. Friday, Wayne State's going to be heading out to the Sticks of Grand Rapids and Allendale, who we're not a huge fan of, to take on Grand Valley. Grand Valley sitting in an overall record of 15-13 overall, 5-1 in conference play, and then following it up on Saturday, heading on down to Hammond, Indiana, to take on Purdue Northwest, who is at an 18-14 overall record, 4-4 in conference play. That's a big one there, and that one is big even before you get to go down and play Purdue Northwest, because you could find yourself in a position, depending on what we do going on to play Grand Valley, the outcome of that could have us above Purdue Northwest, and we could just be going to separate ourselves a little bit. On the flip side, it could be we're going out to Purdue Northwest trying to make up some ground, and the best that we can do is get back to, tied with them in GLIAC standings. That's kind of what my thought around this weekend was, Sangster.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a huge movement weekend for Wayne State. Certainly an opportunity to make some things happen. Uh, Looking overall at the standings right now, the only school that's really running away with it right now is Saginaw Valley. They are 8-0 in conference play. Also, even in their non-conference, they've been doing really well. They're 18-8 overall. So maybe not their best non-conference, but still it's showing now with conference play. They're the only team in the GLIAC to have single-digit overall losses. So again, Wayne State right now, again, you had that bad weekend last week, but still really in the thick of it to try and make something happen this weekend.
Yeah, and I'm just pulling it up right now, and I'm glad you mentioned that the team that's running away with it is Saginaw Valley because we are fortunate enough that Saginaw Valley is going to take on Purdue Northwest. So those are the way the travel partners kind of work out this season. Saginaw Valley is going to be kind of the flip side of who Wayne State is taking on in any given weekend. So that may bode well for this Wayne State softball team.
Yep.
You can't be sitting on the sidelines hoping that Saginaw Valley goes out and win. But Ryan and Sangster can sit at our homes watching and following along with the stats, hoping that Saginaw Valley goes out and wins. So that's what we're hoping for there for sure. Because again, depending on if things go your way against Grand Valley, you feel pretty good. If things don't go your way, you're kind of fighting to stay alive if Saginaw Valley can't go out and make it happen. So there's a lot of things that are going to be happening this weekend, but I mean, if everything go basically, because I know you got the standings pulled up, Sangsters, everything goes Wayne State's way. Where are we looking at? Like, is this the third place team next weekend or next week when we're talking?
So you would be 8-4.
And that's again, that's
Yeah,
everything going your team's way.
right. So you would need to go 8-4. Saginaw Valley, assuming they're playing 4 games, would need to lose, and you would be tied for first.
Oh wow! I mean, that'd be insane. I was just
Yeah,
trying to say, like, we could be a top. Are we gonna
or
be a
eight and
top
four.
three team?
Yeah. So if Saginaw Valley, I'll see if their schedule is any easy to read. Uh, yeah, Purdue. So okay. So Saginaw Valley will be playing 2 games at Purdue Northwest. Then, they got the GLIAC screwed up. They've got 2 1 o'clock games against Grand Valley and a 3 p.m. So yeah, Saginaw Valley will be playing uh 4 games, which means then if they're playing Grand Valley, so well, actually, that would actually put Grand Valley ahead of Wayne's. No, Wayne would go. So if we sweep, Wayne State would be 8-4. Saginaw Valley, if they lose all 4, would be 8-4. Grand Valley would need to beat Saginaw, so that puts them at 7.
The mental gymnastics are real
But
here.
then they would also need, but then Grand Valley would need to lose to Purdue so that Purdue only gets 6.
Sank's
It,
just going to go out
it's
for a
really
smoke
early to be
break after
doing
this,
this.
and it's going to be really funny. All that to be said, we could be talking about definitely a top three Wayne State softball team in GLIAC standings next week, which would be fantastic to see.
Yep.
Again, a lot of things would have to play out, no doubt, but there's a lot of big time teams that are playing this weekend against teams that Wayne State is going against. So I mean, that is an exciting thing to see. And again, all of the stats so far that we're talking about are pointing towards this team has taken a step in the right direction. So
Yep.
that's really all I'm trying to get at there. But yeah, the standings are very interesting and very exciting weekend coming up. I do think this softball team is going to be fun to follow because I think they're going to be right on the brink of uh, the top half of the GLIAC competing to stay up there. And they're going to be in a lot of these games that are going to be fun to talk about.
Yeah, I really hope so because it's Wayne State has had a history of doing very well at softball. It hasn't necessarily been that way the past few years, but to be able to talk about a dominant Wayne State softball team again uh, would certainly make a very nice spring. Following it up, though, we're kind of done with the diamond sports, but we do have some more whack sports. We got the men's and women's tennis teams. Both will be facing the same opponents at home. Starting out with the women's tennis squad, they are 3-6, 1-1 in GLIAC play, and they are starting out with a non-conference game at home against UIndy. UIndy, no stranger to Wayne State, one of the best teams in the Midwest region, if not the nation, certainly up there with Wayne State. going to NCAA regionals, things like that. It seems like almost every year. It seems like they're hosting it uh, almost every year as well. So they'll be playing that game at home on Friday. It looks like Friday is supposed to be a nice day, so that one might be outside, maybe. Saturday, then they'll be playing Michigan Tech.
Yeah,
Also on the yeah, and on the men's tennis side, or men's tennis right now is 9-6, 1-0. They'll be playing the same opponents on the same days.
yeah, I was going to talk about the women's U Indy team really quick because they're sitting at
Yeah,
a 5-8 overall record, but they've also went down to Florida. Actually, no, they did not. They stayed at U Indy because Indianapolis is for whatever reason just amazing at being able to host these huge events.
they have a dome.
Barry Flagler, North Georgia came on up. So those were some of the opponents that this U Indy women's tennis team were able to go against. So their 5-8 record is very, very deceiving. And then talking about Michigan Tech, who is sitting at a 3-0 conference record, that's a bit of a tough draw there for sure right now. And they're 10-3 overall. So that's a tough one. Very, very tough slate coming up for that women's tennis team. But again, I mean, they're, for a team that's sitting at 3-6, I would say that the Wayne State women's tennis record is also a little bit deceiving just because you take on some of the best teams in D2 early on in the season, and then hopefully you can run through some of your conference games.
Yeah, and just like the women's tennis team, Wayne State men's tennis team also had a very tough non-conference schedule, sitting a little bit better than the women's squad right now. I've got Michigan Tech pulled up at least. Michigan Tech is not having the start that they want. I honestly forgot that they had a tennis team, but right now Michigan Tech is 4-8 and 0-2 in GLIAC play. So I mean, certainly they're coming to town. They're looking to get their first conference win of the season, looking to upset a very good Wayne State men's tennis team.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm with you. I kind of didn't really think about the fact that Michigan Tech had a men's tennis team. I don't, for some reason, just didn't click with me. Yeah, so I mean, for this men's side, definitely, like you said, I mean, the UND men's tennis team is definitely in a better spot. So, regardless, that's definitely a tough school to go against. And when you talk about some of the GLIAC matches, you're at home. I mean, this is what it's all about. You get your conference opponent to come to your place. You hope that you can win this one, and you hope that you boost your conference standings. You get UND coming to town. Maybe a little bit less about that opponent. You've studied them not as much. Maybe you haven't gone against some of those opponents as much as some of your conference opponents, but nonetheless, it's still the opponent on the schedule. They're coming to your place, and you're going to put your best foot forward. Wouldn't that be cool if the weather worked out to where this could be outdoors? Like that would be pretty sweet, especially the
Yeah,
Friday one. Like that's opening day for the Tigers. Like, oh my goodness, double it up.
yeah, I've looked. It looks like that weather is supposed to hold out. It's supposed to be a nice day on Friday. I'm not too sure about Saturday. Michigan Tech, at least on their men's side, I'm kind of figured out why I forgot they have a tennis team. They have, oh man, it's not great. That they have not had success at least in the past 5 years or so. So that kind of explains it.
Yeah, fair enough. So good luck to our tennis teams. I know they're going to be home. We're going to definitely be following along with them a little bit. Maybe swing on through, catch a little bit. Again, we talked about it last week enough. If you are a Wayne State student, you can just go and watch tennis. It's right there. You can go sit, enjoy it, have fun. Baseball, softball as well. I mean, they're well, I guess not softball. They're going to be out of town, but baseball is going to be home. You can just go on over and watch some baseball action. So if you're looking for something to do, that'd be a great thing to do. Closing
Yeah.
it out, we got two sports here. Sorry, go ahead, Sangster.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say even with tennis, even if they're indoors, that it is a little odd in the Duchesne Center because there's not like a big spectator area, but you can hang out. There's behind the glass that some people hang out there. Uh, I think more of the Wayne State athletics like administrators kind of hang out there, but there is a spot. They roll in some bleachers kind of at the end of the facility, kind of facing all four. Uh, they can sit and watch the game, and you don't got to be afraid. You can just walk on in through the door. I think they at least ask that you wait for when they've got a stoppage at the court closest to that door, but just walk on in. It's nobody bites there. It's a really cool experience.
Yeah, it is. It's a very unique experience. There's not a whole lot like collegiate tennis. So
Yep.
good stuff there. And then track and field, they're going to be heading all the way up to Oakland University for the Oakland Golden Grizzlies invite. Good stuff there. This is a team that we talked about quite a bit within the last segment of this episode that they're performing very well. They're not quite setting school records yet, but they're getting pretty close with some of our athletes out there. And then finally, Sangster again. Not really much to report on the Wayne State volleyball team, but they are going to be hosting. Again, if you're a Wayne State student, Saturday there's a home spring tournament going on. I don't know who's going to be there. I didn't actually see that it was posted, but being that it's a tournament, you'd like to think there's going to be a couple teams there. Very cool time. If you enjoy volleyball, I mean, just show on up and watch it. It's probably going to be a fun time.
Yep, we're not quite done with spring volleyball yet. There's going to be one more exhibition after this one, but yeah, it just says exhibitions. So you figure there'll be multiple teams. I can't imagine that they're going to be like from too far away, so it might be some of the more local. You may maybe figure like I got to imagine like Detroit Mercy, Oakland, maybe. So schools
Yeah.
like that might be showing up.
Yeah, more than likely. So good stuff there. And that's what we got. So I mean, I will say I think the big one that I mean, it's hard to say that I'm not excited about baseball and softball. I mean, you get some conference games coming up against some really good opponents that you're going against. I think it's very easy to say that baseball and softball are going to be the two big ones I'm going to be keeping my eye on, but that's not to say that those tennis matches aren't going to be big ones. And then track and field, you got some D1 competition you're going up against. You always learn a lot about that to see where your athletes position themselves.
Yeah, no doubt. I think for the tennis squads, it's going to be about, righting the ship after a tough non-con. Um, Again, right now, women's tennis 1-1, probably not where they want to be, but still a big opportunity for them to make some headway in the GLIAC standings.
Yeah, no doubt. And I guess the last thing before we close this one out again, Saturday and Sunday, we'll be doing our Final Four for Warrior House Bar Madness. Got a couple good matchups. And then Monday, we'll be closing that out with our finals. We'll see who ends up getting into that one. Very exciting stuff there. So, with that, Sangster, that's all we got. And as per usual, we appreciate everybody listening in on episode 127, April Fools, Anchor Down of the Warrior House podcast.
And remember, even on April Fool's Day, it's always a great day to be a Wayne State Warrior.